Pam, how close do you get to people? You know, older
Right.
blokes when you're talking, do you sort of, kind of stare at them, or do you look away? Or, I suppose it's a non-verbal thing. Isn't
Yes,
it?
yeah. And the non-verbal sort of communication, as it's called, is really important, because often we pay more attention, or we'll believe the non-verbal communication over what's being said. So if a bloke is asking another bloke about how he's feeling and he's looking around the room, then the other bloke won't think he's very interested. So in terms of how much we stare at someone, it's normally that we look for a while. We might look away. If I'm asking another bloke a question, I would then stop, and he will probably, hopefully, maybe look away while he thinks about it. So that's about eye contact. In terms of how you stand, I think it's important to not be absolutely face on, because that's harder to look away.
Scary, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So something about this angle, or I see a lot of blokes standing with their arms folded, pretty close together, but able to look and look away. I think it needs to be comfortable for both people.
But what about if I'm a tall bloke and he's a short bloke?
Yeah, it can be uncomfortable for the short bloke. And I think some of that is about just being aware of height differences. So if you're talking to a bloke who's sitting down, it's best to sit down as well. If you're concerned about, and particularly a bloke in a wheelchair, don't stand over them. So all those things, it's about just being sensitive to the other person. If you are tall, or you're someone who has a bit hard of hearing and you want to move closer, I mean, I think it's okay to say, look, I'm a bit hard of hearing. I might have to move in a bit closer to hear you. And that's fine. But I think if you just move in, the tendency is, if you see the other bloke moving back, you're too close. So those kind of things are important. Along with those kind of things too is also how you say things, how you use your voice. So if a bloke's pretty down in the dumps, then I would be using a lower, slower tone. Where if he's telling you about this great holiday he's been on, then I would be using a more animated voice as well. So, just, I guess, trying to match the other person a bit.
You'd still need to be natural, wouldn't you?
Yes, yeah.
Be you.
Yes, absolutely.
But the focus is on the other fellow.
Yes, and you're just trying to be conscious of what's comfortable for him. I mean, really, if you're just a couple of blokes having a yarn about the weather, it doesn't much matter. But if you're wanting to encourage a bloke to talk about what's happening for himself, then you're really trying to set a scene where he's comfortable to talk.
What about if you meet him in the street?
Yeah, I think if you meet someone on the street, you may be limited by the number of people around who are listening, and you may maybe not ask as many probing kind of
I suppose
questions.
you could sort of say, hey, let's go and have a cup of tea somewhere.
Absolutely,
That sort of
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah. Or you might just move out of the way a bit, but you don't want to, you just need to be aware of what sort of distractions are around. Yeah.
Well, it's been a most interesting discussion with you. I've learned a great deal, but I think I've got a lot more to learn. Perhaps we should do it again sometime.
Well, yes, and the other thing, of course, is to keep practicing. I mean, I've been talking about this stuff for years, and do I do it all the time? Absolutely not. I have to keep reminding myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea. So we'll talk again sometime.
Okay, lovely, Royce.
Good.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.